Hey, what's up? This is MC Poetic Tendency telling you why spring-assisted knives are 100% legal in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. Spring-assist knives are intended to save lives, while an EMT, firefighter, or law enforcement officer is trying to get you out of an automobile accident or any other viable first response problem. Say you're fatally wounded in an accident, and the first responder needs to apply pressure to this fatal wound while yet trying to get you out of the seatbelt. A spring-assist knife will allow this rescue worker to apply pressure to this fatal wound while yet opening their knife to cut the seatbelt with the other hand. Moving along to the laws of the Scottish. In the UK, the law makes no mention of the ease and speed of accessibility to a blade. After all, the simplistic and fast access merely makes a blade easier, safer, and quicker to deploy. It does not make it more offensive as a weapon. It is still a blade, just more useful for legitimate users. Those who perpetrate crimes abusing knives have their blades drawn long before they intended to use them, as offensive crimes involving knives are almost entirely premeditated. In the UK, we do have a prohibition upon switchblades or full autos, to give them the correct term. The law was passed 50 years ago in response to some quite horrific attacks on the so-called teddy boys of the era, and at the time the new law probably made sense, but even then no mention of the speed of blade deployment contributed to the prohibition, just an abuse of the style of knife. In basic essence, the main difference between a full automatic switchblade and a semi-automatic spring-assisted knife is the external trigger and the internal power source. A full automatic switchblade uses a spring to power the blade and a button to release the blade from the handle. By contrast, a semi-automatic spring-assisted knife uses a pre-tensioned crescent-shaped steel bar to provide the power, and the user is required to depress the blade in some way, either by the use of a thumb stud or some protrusion on the blade itself. Because the user's hands are clear from the sharpened portion of the blade deployment, they are far safer than the traditional knife, where the user's hand must come into forcible contact with the blade. Small differences admittedly, but differences nonetheless. The law is all about detail. Thus, a semi-automatic spring-assisted knife is not prohibited in the United Kingdom, in the same way that a full automatic switchblade is, and logically this makes sense. Any knife, or any other tool for that matter, could be dangerous in the wrong hands, irrespective of configuration, size, and ease, or geometry. This amounts to criminal abuse of what is just a tool. Let's not forget the quick draw, the spring assist knife UK debate. When Crystal revealed the chive at the SHOT Show in America in 2003, people were amazed at the simplicity of its design. After all, how could someone pack such a technological advancement into such a small package? Acclaimed American custom knife maker Onion is the man behind this wonderful new design, but perhaps the origins of Mr. Onion's marvel need a little more exploring. Crystal's little chive has proved to be quite a controversial showpiece, so what's the secret behind this incredible, easy to use blade deployment mechanism? Let's explore the design protocol. Some have questioned the legality of carrying something that opens so readily, yet the law is quite clear. The Dangerous in Weapons Act that banned automatic knife defines an automatic as a knife powered by a spring or operated by a button or any other device attached to the handle. Strangely enough, this law based on US California law, which has exactly the same legal definition. Of course, the chive has neither a spring nor any device attached to the handle, relying instead on a pre-tensioned steel bar to provide the power, an invention pioneered by Blackie Collins on the Mirco power assisted range. It also features an extended tang that protrudes from the handle, another idea developed by Kit Carson's flipper system found on the Columbia River M16 models. Combine the two ideas, wow, it's fast alright, but still within the limits of acceptability. Some would argue that this just exploits a loophole in the law, but I would point out that this is just an extremely clever conceptual design, and it should be appreciated as such. Crystal promotes the safety aspect of the design, and irrespective of whether it's fast or not, you can't escape the fact that the whole idea is to provide a tool which is easily and readily available for use with maximum safety in mind. The conclusion, the ease with which a tool is usable, in no way makes it more or less offensive than any other knife, just safer for the user and others in the close proximity to its use. The automatic knife has accumulated a bad reputation over the years. Terms like flick knife bandied about our tabloid press have not helped. Let's not forget that the original automatics pioneered by the Charade Cutlery Company during the 1920s, were developed as a tool for fishermen to cut nets in extreme seagoing conditions where rough swells and a staggered net could sink a trawler. Yo, what's up? This is MC Poetic Tendency. I just got done explaining to you why spring assist knives are legal in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. You have to know the rules because sometimes the customs agents like to make up their own rules. So, if you're in such countries as Australia and Canada, which usually typically have the hardest customs out there, you will need to know the law and present it to the customs agents to make sure that you get your product. Customs agents have been known to be bored sometimes and then take it upon themselves to make up new laws for us as citizens. So, it is very crucial that you know the laws and can present them to the laws if they decide to make up new laws for you to adhere to. And yes, it has happened in Australia and Canada, and all of my clients have gotten their products once they've presented the law